Welcome to another interview for Women of Their Word. As you know, that's the show that was supposed to have opened in March at the Redland Museum. A certain virus didn't let that happen, but we will be opening now in September, this weekend in September. Women of the Word's little potted look at a selection of Australian women poets. One of those poets is Louisa Lawson, who is perhaps known best for being the mother of Henry Lawson, but she was quite a cracker of a woman in her own right. And Maxine Chisholm will be playing the role. Maxine's with me now. Maxine, great to have you here.
Thanks, Jan.
Louisa Lawson lived fairly recently, but she didn't ever really get the high profile that I think, and many people think, that she deserved. Was
Absolutely.
it difficult, in view of that, to find the character, to sort of get the feel of her and develop it on stage?
No, I think the little bit that I had read then about Louisa Lawson, it, it, it was easy. What I had read, it was easy enough to take that on and get a feel of what she was like as a woman. But I'm doing a lot more reading now about her, and the more I read, the more I absolutely love her, and would have loved to have met her. And I just, yeah, she's just like almost a part of me. She's just fantastic. And like probably other women of her era or before, just didn't get the recognition that they should have had. And your opening comment then about her being Henry Lawson's mother, I read something about that this morning. Most people, when they say Louisa Lawson, Henry Lawson's mother, so I read somewhere, a historian I think actually wrote that that's almost an insult to a woman, that every time she's mentioned as Henry Lawson's, also almost she comes second class. So I vowed from today that when I speak about Louisa Lawson, I will never mention Henry Lawson. If someone asks me and says, oh, is she related to Henry Lawson? I say, yeah, she was his mum, but not make that a main introduction to her.
Yeah, like a reference point.
It just didn't ever twig to me before because I always did it before. But until I read what this historian had wrote, so it's actually insulting to women to keep saying that. I think when she died, it was in the news. It was a newspaper heading, something about Louisa Lawson, Henry Lawson's mother, not like a woman in her own right.
Yes, yeah. Well, let's hope you're starting a great tradition, Maxine. I think that's absolutely wonderful.
She started a lot of things that we benefit from now, women.
Yeah. Can you tell us some of them?
Well, suffrage, having the right to vote. I mean, she was so strong about women having rights, and being able to, they as she's quoted in the section of the play that I'll be reading, women have got lots of issues, but they had no way to vent those issues or get anything done about them. So, the suffrage movement was really, really important, and she was really, really important in that movement. Yeah.
So, have you, as well as reading stories about her, have you learned a lot about her character from her own poetry, from her own writing?
Yes, yeah, I have actually. I do think she held a lot of bitterness and a resentment from her life, that she never got to do the things that she really yearned to do because of the family situation, and being a woman, I suppose, it was much more difficult then.
Yeah, she didn't get half the support, did she, that she gave?
No, not at all. And her mother actually was, had encouraged her not one ilk. Like, as we know, destroying her poetry and things like that. I mean, that's like ripping someone's heart out of you, saying that's where Louisa would have been able to vent all her resentment and everything, and then someone just comes up and rips it up like it's not worth anything. I think that when I can, that you talked about empathy, when I think that about her, I can really understand how that might have felt for her.
Right.
And being, wanting to sing and being, not allowed. She had a chance to go overseas and study. She could have turned out like Dame Nellie Melba, but she wasn't. Her mother said no way, and that would have been a cruel blow. Would have been a cruel blow to me.
So hard. It's interesting too when you said that you do find things out about her from her poetry. I've noticed just as we work through this production, Women of Their Word, that very often women who have the big, tough exterior
Yes.
will show a side of themselves in their poetry that's much more personal and private. And I think that pertains particularly to Louisa Lawson.
Yes, absolutely. Because she obviously didn't show it on the outside, but when a lot of her poetry is about her and her, what she was feeling. And that was the way she could express it. So like I said, if then someone comes along and destroys it, it's almost destroying her. So having that option to then print the poetry and publish the poetry, she's been able to express it to a much bigger audience. Yeah, because the Digger's Daughter, I find that interesting because even when I first read that, I thought that's got Henry Lawson written all over it. Because I've read some of his poetry, and I wonder whether he had a hand in that or whether they had particular styles in some of the poetry. I haven't read all of her poems.
Or now here's setting the
She wrote some of his.
Yes. I wonder if she collaborated.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah.
Okay, there's a thought. We'll see if that's still cooking in literary circles in a year from now.
Yeah.
Maxine, she was a writer. You interpret her stuff beautifully. You're a singer. Would you have liked to have worked with her? I mean, what do you think it would have been like if you two had been able to sit down in a studio together over a cup of tea or a bottle of wine?
I reckon we would have had a ball. I reckon I would have gone with her really well. And I can still collaborate with her because I'm more interested in reading her poems, and I'm going to set some of them to music and sing them. I'm going to introduce her more to my singing circle because I really think that's so important. She's written the words, and I've put music to some other people's poems, and I'm going to, I have a mission now that I want to do some of Louisa Lawson.
Folks, you heard it here first. This is
it's been recorded. I was reading one this morning, and I thought it's so beautiful. There was one called about, obviously she'd been betrayed. I don't know whether her husband had had another relationship or something. But I've read it before. I read it years ago, and I thought that would be a beautiful song. So that's one that I put on my repertoire.
That is just wonderful, Maxine. And of course, the role that you're playing has been adapted from the role in Phil Lobel's wonderful piece, Dames and Daredevils for Democracy. And Phil has always said right through the whole process of turning that into a stage play, Louisa never got the acknowledgement she deserved. She should have statues. So Phil will be turning cartwheels when we let her know that.
That's good.
With that.
Absolutely. Well, Henry's got heaps of his songs put to music.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. So many.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he doesn't need any more accolades off Louisa.
I think there's a whole selection produced, if I'm not mistaken, by the National Library, of Henry Lawson's songs that Chris Kempster said to me.
I got the book. Actually, I've got 2 copies of the book, and I have sung them myself. So the poems that Chris Kempster put to music.
Oh well, this could be the next.
It's Louisa's turn now.
Maxine. This could be there's a play in that.
Because I think so many. Aside from the suffragist word, which is fairly well known in certain circles, just the fact that she was such an intelligent, creative woman, and that people should know about her more.
Splendid. That is absolutely splendid news. Thank you. Do you have a segment that you could do for us now that for you epitomises the woman or epitomises her work?
Yes. Well, I think for me this probably is one of the best pieces that might epitomise her, because I think it was her true feelings coming out. I have to read it off the page. Sorry, Jan, because I don't want to misinterpret the words. A woman's opinions are useless to her. She may suffer unjustly. She may be wronged, but she has no power to weightily petition against man's laws. No representatives to urge her views. Her only method to produce change is to ceaselessly agitate. Now, people have to come to the play because I need to portray that as Louisa might have said it, with a bit more force.
And a warning.
But
for
I
those
love that. I
sitting in
think
the front row.
that really sums up what she was about. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Maxine, it's been lovely speaking with you. Thank you so much. And your passion for Louisa Lawson and her work is
It just
contagious.
grows. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So
Yeah.
we'll see you on stage in September.
See it rehearsals.
That was Maxine Chisholm. She'll be playing Louisa Lawson in the production at the Redland Museum, which opens in September. First Saturday in September is our opening night. You'll have to book because of COVID. It's still having its impact. The numbers are limited, but if you pop onto the Redland Museum website, www.redlandmuseum.org.au, you'll be able to book through there, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. I'm Jane Neri, and thanks so much for being with us. If I can find the little off button.